Let me see if this tune will work.
Welcome to part 3 of my solo piano framework. In this particular lesson, I'm going to be teaching you about the medium to fast solo piano approach. The medium to fast solo piano approach. Now, this is going to be the most difficult because of the added responsibilities to our left hand, and so it can provide solid support for our right hand as it plays the melody. My name is Brendan Lowe, creator and founder of JazzPianoSchool.com. Definitely go check out the website for all the other free education that's on there. And the live teaching programs that we are running are going to be starting the first week of September. So if you're interested in studying with myself or my staff and getting live lessons, live custom lesson plans, master classes, and so much more, go to jazzpianoschool.com/group. We only run these once a year, so definitely go check that out. Otherwise, they'll be closed. You'll have to wait till next year. With that being said, let's dive right into this lesson. Here we go.
All right. Hello, everyone. I think we're live streaming. This is Brendan Lowe, creator and founder of Jazz Piano School. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to get the settings going, just make sure everyone can hear me. This is going to be a really, really fun episode. I'm going to be finishing up my solo piano framework. I see that Franco's here. That's awesome. Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. Getting my piano going here. Yeah, how's everyone doing? Let me know who's here. Let me know who's watching. Whoops. All right. Okay, cool. I just checked that. Gonna get rid of these windows. Just like to check my settings here. Again, like I said, we're going to be finishing up the third part of my solo piano framework. If you guys have been following along with me, that's awesome. If you haven't been, that's completely okay. You can learn a lot here as well today because there's only going to be a couple of skill sets that are going to transfer over from the last two methods that I taught, the approaches, right, into this particular skill set. You're going to learn a lot of new things as well, but some things will transfer over. So even if you haven't been following along, that's completely okay. Let me get my chat going here real quick, and then we will get started. There we go. All right, John's here. Awesome. London, amazing. Susanna's here. Great. Umberto, Franco, Mike. Cool. Got a lot of live program participants and students here today, which is awesome. John Weir is in my mastermind program. Mike's going to be in the accelerator program. It's another reason that I'm doing a series of these live streams right now to promote the live programs that are going to be starting in September. And what you're experiencing here now with me and over the past couple live streams is exactly what you get in the master classes when you enroll into our live programs. Now, obviously, the difference is that we're actually on Zoom, so we get to see your faces, we get to talk to you, you can ask questions in real time through Zoom. You also get custom lesson plans from myself, from my educators, and you get group homework assignments. You submit videos. You have accountability support. Fantastic live programs. I won't go on and on about that, but they are starting in September. If you are interested, go to jazzpianoschool.com/group. You can choose my mastermind, or you can choose the accelerator program. Find out all the information you need on the programs, what it entails, the duration. My mastermind is 9 months. The accelerator program is 3 months, and the price and investment there is there as well. And if you're looking to enroll, you can enroll on that page as well. So let me just go over a couple brief things before I get started. We started with approach number 1. That was going to be my ballads, the ballad approach. Now, the ballad approach, right, we did the tune But Beautiful. Sorry, fixing a couple settings. Here we go. The ballad approach was a two-hand approach, two-hand harmonization system approach. Okay. Now, a lot of what I'm playing here sounds kind of complicated. But what I did in the approach, if you haven't seen it, was I broke it down. Now, for example, let me take the voicing that I just stopped on. Okay, actually, let me get rid of that note because I didn't go over that strategy, that tool right there that I was adding in very much. So from here, right, I'm going to break it down further for you because right now it probably looks like a cluster of notes on your screen, right? I got my melody, okay? I got my shells, 1 and 3 and 7. And then the rest of what you're seeing here is fill, right? So I added a third here. I could have made that a 9. Probably would have been a better choice in my opinion, actually. So I'm going to remove the 9. I'm going to remove the 13. And I'm going to remove the 5. Right? I'll do that again. I'm going to remove the 9. That's a color. The 9 is an extension. It's a color. I'm going to remove the 13, also a color, like a spice on a food, like turmeric or cinnamon, right? I'm just removing these spices. The meat and potatoes are still there. And I'm going to remove the 5, okay? So the bare bones of this, I have my melody, I have my shells, and I have my bass notes. The 3 components you always need, right? Repetition creates impression, all right? So always need your bass note, your shells, and your melody in your voicing arrangement for your ballads, right? Because your bass note's going to be the low end. Your shells are going to dictate and bring out and reflect the quality of the chord, and your melody is obviously the melody. It's very, very important, right? From here, we can start to add some things in, the 5, the 5, the 13, and the 9. And we get beautiful, lush pro arrangements. Now, I can add other things. There's other tools I'm not going over. I could put a 5 down here. I could put a 7 up here, right? There's a lot of kind of small nuances, but what you're getting is the meat and potatoes there. That was my ballad strategy. Now, you can take this strategy. You can use it over any ballad you want at any time, over any tune in the real book, any ballad that you see, anytime, anywhere, anytime. It's a system that you can follow to play ballads beautifully every single time, right? Now, there are components and tools to that you need to practice, obviously, in order to make that happen. But when you do that, you unlock the freedom to learning and playing solo piano jazz cocktail ballads like students want to be able to play, which is an amazing thing. Now, obviously, in my live programs and inside of Jazz Piano School, there's a lot more flourishing that happens that I teach. I'm not teaching right here. Right? Certain movements. Right? A lot of other stuff. But for just a student, a general student that wants to play ballads, you can get away with playing just 2-hand voicing harmonizations and sound absolutely wonderful. And it's actually quite rare that I come across a student that can just play a simple version of a beautiful 2-handed arrangement of a tune like But Beautiful using the system that I'm teaching here. The voicing that I just talked about, right? Right? Just doing this. I bet almost 100% of the students watching now, of anyone watching right now, whether you're live here with me or you're rewatching the replay, would like to be able to do what I just played. Almost probably 100%. Okay? And that's a great skill set to have. It's a great level to be at. Approach number two that I went over in the last live stream. Now, approach number 2 was slow swing. Slow swing. Now, let me take a tune like Just Friends, for example. With Just Friends, in slow swing, there's something that we start to need to have to do. We start to need to have to account more rhythmically. We have to account for the rhythm and create a swing feel. We can do this in one of 2 ways. We can bring our right hand down to comp for ourselves. We're actually going to start comping in this slow swing feel. So here's the melody to Just Friends. Right? I have to create a swing feel. I'm playing about 1, 2, 1, 2. I was playing a little faster, but that's kind of about the feel. It's probably like 110-ish. Again, this approach, this stage here to my framework is 85 BPM to about 110, 115 BPM. So we need to create the swing feel. We do that by comping in the space. Comp, comp. Comp, comp. Comp, comp. Comp, comp. You guys see how I'm comping? Now the voicings that I'm using right now are, of course, the voicings that you have to know in jazz, your rootless voicings. You got to know your rootless voicings in jazz, right? If you don't know your rootless voicings, I'd probably just turn this off right now and go learn your rootless voicings, because they're going to be the most important thing to a jazz pianist that you absolutely need. They're going to allow you to do so many things. I'm just kidding. Don't turn it off. But like maybe after this live stream, go practice your rootless voicings. They should be like clockwork if you don't know them, okay? And if you say, yeah, I pretty much know them, I've heard that word in there thousands of times. Kinda, almost, pretty much, yeah, just about, right? If you're having to say those words when I ask you if you know them, they're not at the level they need to be at. When I ask my students, hey, do you know your rootless voicings? I want to say, yes, I know them like the back of my hand. I can play them for you right now. Would you like to hear them, Brendan? Right? How many of you could say that if I asked you that question? Raise your hand. Nah, you can't raise your hand, right? Because we're on YouTube. So anyway, you can raise your virtual hand. But rootless voicings are so important now. Obviously, we are comping. The other thing we're going to do is utilize. You guys all with me right now? This chat's kind of quiet. Just give me a yes. Maybe throw some hearts in there. I'm going to throw some party emojis in here because it's fun. Oh, that doesn't work. No. Too bad. Remind me not to do that. Party. Okay, I have to get out of this now. Sorry, I screwed my chat up. So we're going to harmonize the melody just like we were doing in the ballads. Okay, so you know, we just did my demonstration. I was just playing the melody and then I was comping, but now I'm going to harmonize. Right, so I'm harmonizing. I'm harmonizing with this melody with shells, and I could do some other chords, right? Harmonize. So the harmonize, right, voicing that I'm using is the exact same strategy. It's the exact same strategy that I took from the ballad approach. So if you learn your harmonization strategy in the ballad approach, then when you get to your slow swing level, which is really like level 2 of my proficiency that I'm going to be releasing in Jazz Piano School in the members area very shortly, that when you get to that level 2, you can add quick harmonizations here like this because you've practiced it. Okay, right? So check it out. Comp, comp. Harmonize, comp, comp. Harmonize, comp, comp. Comp, comp. And then so on and so forth in this particular swing tune, right? So that was our slow swing. All right. Let's get to today's topic. Our medium and fast swing tunes. Our medium and fast swing tunes. Does anyone have any questions about what I just reviewed? Again, you can go to youtube.com, Jazz Piano School. Highly recommend you subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can look at the live streams that have happened. You can review those. This week, we are going to be releasing them as podcasts as well. So if you want to listen in your car, you can utilize them as podcasts. You can listen. You can watch on YouTube rather than going to the full live stream. You can watch just the video. So they'll be released as podcasts. You can also find them on the Jazz Piano School website under podcasts. George says, but you weren't using rootless voicings in a ballad. George, no. So when we're playing ballads, we're not really utilizing rootless voicings at all because we're building our voicing up based on the melody. So again, in But Beautiful, this the first chord I'm playing here. Yeah, it's okay. You don't have a chart, but the first melody note is A, and then the chord change is a G major 7, a G major 7. So I have this melody. So the A natural is the melody note over the G major 7. So I'm going to build a two-hand voicing by following this system, right? I'm going to add my shells. George, I know you've been practicing your shells, so this is awesome, right? So for you, George, right, George learned an amazing trick for students out there, if you're at this level, where if you want to add in your shells, like let's say I want to add in my shells of a G major 7 chord. Sometimes it's difficult to pluck your notes out, and I highly encourage all of you to find hacks. Trick your brain. Find clever interconnecting pathways that allow your brain to remember something or play something fast. That is completely okay in jazz, right? If you want to teach yourself something in a different way than I'm showing you, or think about it in a different way, that's always okay. The only thing that matters is you play the notes that I'm telling you to play, okay? So if you want to find your shells, George likes to think about finding his shells with a B minor triad. So if he goes up a third from the root of the chord and plays a B minor triad in his right hand, he's getting the shells plus the fifth, right? It's a fabulous way to think about this. Now, if he wants to play the shells alone, like I told him, I wrote back into his email this morning, George is going to be in the accelerator program too, which is awesome. I want him to remove the fifth as well, because I really just want him and anyone else, students, starting with just shells. Because what this allows you to do is it allows you to start to add in colors and extensions, right? So I can add in my 13 if I want, freely, right? Without the 5. And this is a different sound than doing this, right? Every note adds on to the texture. So George, to build my voicing, I'm going to play the melody. I'm going to play my shells in my right hand under the melody. And then I'm going to play my bass note here. This is really the first step to building my voicing. Then I'm going to add the 7th. And then I can add the 5th, I can add the 13, right? I can add more colors, right? You're not quite there yet. I know you're playing. But eventually you can get there, and other students can do that as well. So no, to answer your question, I'm not really thinking about adding rootless voicings in ballads. I don't really need my rootless voicings for ballads that much at all, right? Which the only real reason I'd need my rootless voicings is to comp in a slow swing solo piano tune, or a fast, medium, and fast swing solo piano tune, which I'm about to show you, right now. Okay? So, I'm going to go and use the tune There Is No Greater Love. How many people have heard this tune, played this tune? Let me know in the chat. Even if you're familiar with this tune, I just want to kind of know if you're aware of this tune. It's a great tune. Lovely tune. So this is tended to be played a little bit up. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Right, so if I had to guess, 1, 2, I'm probably about 140, maybe 140 to 150. So great. Umberto says heard of it. Franco's played it. Nick says know it but not played it. Yes, learned it in JPS. Yeah, Tom, great. Yeah, Sterling did a live stream on this, tune of the month on this, which is awesome. Susanna loves this tune. Great. So when we play this in a medium to up fashion, what is the strategy that we're going to need? What is the strategy that we're going to need to do, right? So first of all, let me ask you guys these questions. I guess we'll just go one line at a time here. What do we need to reflect? I just said this a million times, right? Because repetition creates impression. What did I say over and over and over again? What do we need? We need the melody, all right? We know that. Definitely got the melody in. We need the bass notes too, right? We need the bass notes because they're the foundation. They're the root of the chord. They're like our foundation to a house. If you don't lay a foundation to a building, what's going to happen to that building? All right? We don't want to find out. We need those bass notes in. All solo piano approaches need bass notes, melody, and, like Franco just said, shells, right? Root, shells, and melody. Now, you don't have to, the shells and the bass note shouldn't, for most of the time, be close to each other, really ever, right? You should have your bass notes below C3, nice low end bass notes, like a bass player, like a double bass would play. You want them to sound like a super low double bass. you don't want your bass notes to sound up here in the tiny higher end. You're right. That's not where bass notes, that's not where the foundation lies. You want a solid, rich bass end support. All right. You want your shells. Here are my shells, and here is my melody. Right? So, what we have to do now is we have to create a solid support system in our left hand. So my left hand's going to have to jump around using what I call left hand solo piano components. Left hand solo piano components, because my right hand's going so fast playing the melody at this medium to fast tempo that, guess what, I don't have time to do anymore. In Just Friends, I could do this. Whoops, sorry. So what am I doing here? I'm harmonizing the melody with the chords. Now, because we're in a medium to fast tempo, I no longer have the ability to do this, right? I no longer have the ability to do this. So what I have to do is I have to rely more on my left hand to play the harmonies, the shells, the chords, the bass notes. My right hand, because the melody's moving so fast, is just going to be playing the melody. It really doesn't have time to do much of anything else. I can't harmonize other notes in my right hand on top of this melody because A, there's so many melody notes here, and B, it's moving too fast to do it. So I have to rely on my left hand to help out. So check it out. So I was over demonstrating for you. I did have a couple opportunities for my right hand to help out in certain situations. Did you see those opportunities there? Where are the opportunities here for my right hand to help my left hand out for harmonic support? Well, we have that opportunity in the third measure. Why do we have an opportunity in the third measure? Because it's a whole note. The melody stops. It finally stops. This allows my right hand to jump down to help my left hand out. Right? So my right hand can hit the D natural, and then it can comp, right, for the chord that I need. Or it can stay here on that sharp 11, which is really nice. And then I can actually get a comp on beat 1 with my right hand on the G7 because the melody note is tied to a quarter note. This means I still have space. I still have space on that beat 1 of the G7 to hit a chord. Maybe I'll hit a G7 flat 9 chord and then jump to my melody. Okay, let's check out this next line here because I want to show you what happens. So luckily for us in the next line, we also start to get breaks. We start to get breaks in the melody. Now again, my whole point here is that in medium to fast tunes, our right hand can really only help out when we get a break in the melody. Otherwise, our left hand has to do everything. Now let's talk about what our left hand has to do, what it can do. I'm going to start from the bottom up, the most beginner thing you could possibly do in a medium to fast tempo swing tune, and I'm going to progress up by level, right? By experience, by, it's just going to, the difficulty level is going to get higher and higher and higher, okay? So my first left-hand solo piano component I want you guys to know, let me go back to this, is your bass notes, Now, I'm going to break my rule just a little bit. Because it's jazz, we can break the rules. But I have to lay down rules for you so you think there's rules, and then once you know the rules, you can start to bend them a little bit. Because obviously you hear walking bass lines all the time. Now, what are we not getting with the walking bass line? When I'm playing walking bass, what's not happening? I'm not getting a component that I was talking to you guys about, right? I'm not getting the shells. I'm not playing the third and 7, but the tune still sounds great, right? Still sounds fantastic. So I am breaking my rule just a little bit. I know I told you guys. You always need your shells in there. You certainly definitely need your shells most of the time, jazz is always situational and it's expressive, right? In a ballad and slow swing, excuse me. But here, you can really get away with it because the tune's moving so fast, okay? So the first easiest left hand component to play for a medium and fast tune is just bass notes. Okay, I'm not even walking bass. Right? Just a melody with the bass notes. Easy peasy, right? I think all of you guys could probably do that. Okay? Make sure you isolate your left hand first. Play just your left hand bass notes. Practice this. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? And then practice your melody alone. I know I'm not playing the written rhythm here, okay? So I know it's a dotted quarter note, but you can smudge it a little bit if you want. And then put them together. Every tool that you learn, every approach, every step that you learn should always be practiced hands separately first. I'll say it again. It's just like classical music. This is something I learned in classical music. Not all of you have taken classical music. What's the first thing you do when playing a classical piece? You practice your right hand first, and then you practice your left hand first. Right? Then you put them together. Now, jazz students, if you haven't taken classical music, you really don't get this ingrained and learned in your body, in your system, in your practice routine at all. And it's the thing that holds students back so much. When I tell you to combine the melody with the shells, don't just try to start putting the melody with the shells. You got to practice your melody alone and then practice your shells. Otherwise, your ship's going to fall apart. Your house is going to fall apart, right? So that's what we want to do. That's the first step. Now, the next easiest thing you can do is play 1-3-7. 1-3-7. Now, this is going to get a little bit too beginnerish for me, but I do want to show it. I shouldn't say for me, but for me to teach you. Like, I really don't want you doing this that much, okay? And you can get away with it up here in the higher end of the piano. But again, like, let's say I were to jump down to this E flat 7. This is a big no-no. Your shells really should never cross, for the most part, this C3, which is the bass note threshold. Like, your bass note should be below the C3. Your shells should be above. Your bass note's below, shells above, right? So if I were to play this E flat 7 chord, I'd hit a bass note and then go to my shells. Or hit a bass note and go to my shells here. Right? I would never, almost ever in my entire life play this. Well, I shouldn't say in my entire life. I did it when I was younger. But you would never hear a professional jazz pianist do this. Like, unless they're doing a specific Bobby Timmons texture, actually, that sounds like this. That's the only time. Right? That's the only time. Okay? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to play some 1s, 3s, and 7s. But again, I'm just demonstrating this for you because you can get a sound out of this. You can start to play medium and fast swing as a hack. It's like a tool, but I don't recommend it. Okay, I'm going to teach you other ways in just a second, but you can get away with this. Ah. Right? So I'm playing 1, 3, and 7. Okay, not the best way, but you can get away with it. Okay, let's talk about how we start to progress 1, 3, and 7 so it actually sounds good. We have to start jumping from our bass note to our shells, or vice versa, our shells to our bass note. Again, this is a left-hand solo piano component. This is one of the reasons that medium and fast swing tunes are so difficult, because it requires more left-hand dexterity, technique, control, okay, that a lot of students lack, and it's difficult to get to this level. My left hand's going to jump from bass note to shells or shells to bass notes. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. All right. I'll do it alone without the melody. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Oops. Okay. So, I mean, what I'm doing, theoretically, easy. Theoretically easy. You could repeat it back to me. Bass note to shells. Shells to bass note. Got it, Brendan. Let me try it out. Oh, wow. Wait a second. This is really, really hard to jump back and forth to do this. Yes. Yes, it is. And that's why I just said your 1-3-7 technically is an option, but it's not going to be your best option, okay? Because it's a much easier strategy than jumping like I just demonstrated for a lot of people. Now, you'll have to spend a lot of time on this, especially if you don't have much classical piano foundation under your hands. They're not that strong. You're not used to the movements and the jumps, right? You'll have to practice this a lot. Now, that's the main part. From here, it just gets more increasingly difficult, unfortunately. And again, most students don't get to this level because it's very, very difficult. It takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of piano fundamentals, just playing the piano well. And this is really gained through practice classical music. From here, I start to add in rootless voicings in my left hand. So I'm going to hit a bass note and go to a full rootless voicing. Bass note, full rootless voicing. Bass note, full rootless voicing, right? Now, again, in the times where the melody is sitting, I am going to take advantage of those times and use my right hand. Okay, I'm not going to demonstrate that right now, but I wouldn't just use this one strategy over the whole tune. Okay, so here it is. 1, 2, bass note, 2, rootless voicing, 1. So I'm playing bass note, rootless voicing, bass note, rootless voicing, bass note, rootless voicing. Sometimes I'm hitting my rootless voicing first and then jumping down to a bass note, rootless voicing, bass note, rootless voicing. Right? That's extremely difficult. I'm not going to lie. That's extremely difficult. A lot of you probably just completely just leave that off the table. Right? Just leave it off the table. Now, this is why solo piano starts to get really, really hard because we have to start to do things like this. And again, I'm going to take advantage of the space where the melody stops so I can comp in that space. So I'm always taking advantage of the space. Franco had a great observation here that I'm going to touch a bit upon because I hadn't talked about this. I'm going to talk about the rhythms of my left hand. He said you play the root with a little bit of the delay. That's a great, great, great observation. Now, for all of you that attended my slow swing masterclass, I talked about the comping rhythms that you should use. I think Mike's here. He probably knows. A lot of you probably know. My students, my live program students, jazzpianoschool.com/group if you want to check out the live programs. I forget who was in the last class. What was his name? I should know. He was Randall. Randall was crushing all my questions in the last masterclass, which was really, really funny because he had an answer to every question. But the rhythmic portion on my left hand, the way that you make, I did a whole full podcast on this, by the way. I forget what episode it is. There's a combination of two rhythms that you can use to make things swing really hard. Okay, listen closely. Write this down. There's a combination. This is for your right hand comping or your left hand, right? Because both are, I can comp with my right hand down here with chords, or I can comp with my left hand when I go bass note, comp, okay? It's a combination of two rhythms. It's either, and it doesn't matter which order you do it in. You can do a downbeat mixed with an upbeat, or vice versa. an upbeat mixed with a downbeat. I'll say it again. You can do a downbeat combined with an upbeat, or you can do an upbeat combined with a downbeat. So if I take a rootless voicing, I'm going to use my right hand, for example. I'm going to do a downbeat mixed with an upbeat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and. Okay, I'll do it again. 1 and 2 and. 1 and 2 and. That combination is going to help your tune swing to maximum potential. Okay, to maximum potential. If you're not including those rhythms in your rhythmic comping areas when you're comping for yourself in solo piano, you're not going to be swinging that hard. And what I mean by that is, check it out. If I do 2 downbeats back to back, 1, 2, 3, 4, that doesn't swing because they're both downbeats. If I do 2 upbeats, 1, 2, 3, 4, it's a little too hiccupy, like there's no solid foundation. So the combination of the downbeat to an upbeat or upbeat to a downbeat, I didn't do the second one. Here's the second one, upbeat to a downbeat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3. So Franco, what I'm doing here is I'm playing on the upbeat, right? Yes, exactly. The Charleston, pretty much the Charleston. Dot ah, dot ah. That's why the Charleston was so amazing. It swings so hard. I love listening to the Charleston because of that particular rhythm. But what I was doing here, Franco, with my bass notes is I'm playing the bass notes on the upbeat and then I'm playing a chord on the downbeat for the most part. Now, at the level that I'm at, I can really switch up a lot of the rhythms a lot of the time, right, and choose what rhythms I want. But again, for most of the time, I might go. So 1 and 2 and 3. That's the rhythm I'm playing in my left hand. 1 and 2 and 3. That's the delay you're hearing. You're hearing a little delay because I'm playing some of the bass notes on upbeats. The upbeat of 1. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and. I'm doing naturally combinations of upbeats and downbeats and downbeats and upbeats. It's something I've worked on. You'll have to work on this too, so it becomes naturally ingrained in your rhythmic capabilities, right? So that's the delay you're gonna. That's the delay you're hearing. Yeah, my pleasure. So where was I? So it gets harder, right? But that's pretty much how your approach would tackle tunes like this. And this is exactly how, if I'm at a gig, if I'm at a solo piano concert, this is exactly how I would tackle a tune like this. And in the space, you're hearing comping and some reharms because I have space to do it. I went B flat major, B major, B flat major, right? Now, the reason I'm able to add in these little bits of reharms and comping rhythms is because I have space in the melody. Now, again, these are high level reharms and comping voicings, okay? These are the things that I see most students going after first. Right? These are the cherries on top. These are the spices on top, and this is what prevents students from making fast, efficient progress in their playing for their entire lives. Because they have all the spices, but they have no meat and potatoes. The number one thing that my live program students say to me when I ask them, you know, how's it going with your playing? They say, well, it feels like I know a lot of things, but I can't play anything. It feels like I know a lot of things, but I really can't play anything. It's kind of sad. It breaks my heart when I hear that because I was there. I've been through it, right? And I want to tell you the reason for that is because you have all these spices in your cabinet, in your hands, in your playing, right? Improv licks, cool voicings, different types of movements, right? But you really have no meat and potatoes for the dinner. You have no solid fundamentals that allow you to just go. Right? Like, think about it. If you could just play a tune just like that, that's all you need. And a lot of time, man, there's a dang leaf blower right outside my window right now. It's really bothering me. A lot of times, that's all you need. That's really, really all you need. Okay? Mike says, are you adding rhythm to the quarter note melody lines? Yes, great question, Mike. I am adding some different types of rhythms because, again, it's a great thing that most students don't really realize is that you can't swing quarter notes. You cannot swing quarter notes. So when you see a tune like this that's written in all quarter notes, like on this first pickup to the melody, I'm not going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So the first eighth note that I get in this whole entire tune is in measure 1, but it's after like 3, 4, 5. It's after 6 notes, right? So the only time you hear the swing in the melody, okay, is after 6 whole notes. That's too long. It's too long. So yes, I'm changing the melody a little bit. I'm starting that first A natural as a pickup. So I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and, right? 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So even on that first measure, I can go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and I'm adding in little eighth notes all the time to try and make it swing more. Otherwise, it's going to sound like dot, 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 right? Quarter notes are not swing. They can't produce the sound of swing. If I play a scale like this, I can't swing that. That's all quarter notes, right? So if I play a scale like this, that can swing because it's all melody notes, right? Lead sheet for There Is No Greater Love is in Real Book 1 plus Sterling. Yes, exactly. For all the members out there, you can actually go view Sterling's Tune of the Month in the Tune of the Month archives. Check out what he did for There Is No Greater Love. Fantastic, obviously, his Tune of the Months. I love them. They're always fantastic. That's why he's doing them. And there is a lead sheet in Real Book 1 for everyone that wants it. Okay? Any other questions? That's it. You know, let me see if I can go to another tune. There Is No Greater. Oh, wait. That's the one I just did. What was I on? There will never be another you. I would do the same exact thing here. For There Will Never Be Another You. See all the quarter notes there? I'm going to probably try and swing those a little bit. Since there's so many quarter notes there, I have to rely on my left-hand solo piano components to jump to shells or jump to chords, rootless voicings in that particular area of the melody. But when I get to that whole note, you better know. Anytime you see a whole note in the melody, you have to go, okay, my right hand can now help out my left hand. My right hand can come down to help out my left hand. Check it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Right? So I'm jumping my right hand down to help out my right hand comping. Okay? So again, I can't swing these quarter notes. I can't swing them. That's why I'm delaying some of them and I'm making them eighth notes, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. You can really now students in this situation might say, well, which one should I delay? It doesn't matter. Like choose one to delay and hold on to and then make the next one an eighth note. So in order to make them an eighth note, think about it. Because it's a quarter note, it has 2 eighth notes. So you need to make the first one longer. You need to make the first one a dotted quarter, which means you can now turn the next note into an eighth note. So I have to hold one note and then make the next one an eighth note. Hold the first note as a dotted quarter, then make the next one an eighth note. 1, 2, 3, and I can make the first pickup. See how the first pickup note is a quarter note? 4, 1. That's so bland, right? So I'm going to make this an eighth note. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. And 1. That's already swinging, right? And 1. And 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, and 2, da, 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 right, da, da. So I'm going 4 and. I'm even anticipating the melody note, the F. Instead of putting it on the downbeat of 1, I'm actually putting it a measure before. I'm putting it on the upbeat of and. 4 and. Right? And then I can jump my right hand down to comp 4 and. Comp, comp. This note is sticking. I have to fix that. Right? And I can comp from the D minor 7 flat 5 to the G7 in the space. Okay? Finally, I get to comp for myself, which is always a big relief in a fast tune for a solo pianist, because it's like, whoo, I get to take a break and just comp for myself, which is great. Okay? So again, another medium to fast swing. I'm using the same approach. I'm still using the left-hand solo piano components mixed with my right hand, but also mixed with my two-hand voicing comping. So as you can see, your two-hand voicing comping strategy, right, is used for mainly slow swing and fast swing tunes. Okay, but the way that you can start to really kind of work on this is in your slow swing tunes when you have to comp for yourself in that space. So start there and then move into this. Any other questions? So theoretically, this third approach is the easiest of all three approaches. Theoretically, I don't have to explain to you much of what's going on. But the issue with that is obviously the technical aspect of executing approach number 3 over tunes is the most difficult solo piano approach. I'll say that again. Approach 3 has an inverse relationship to each other. The approaches have an inverse relationship to each other with the difficulty level and learning level, right? And the learning level and the difficulty level. So learning how to play beautiful ballads with rich, lush voicings is the easiest to play because it's not fast, doesn't require much technique. Anyone can really play chords. But you have to learn a lot about your harmonies, your shells, right? Where are your shells? Where are your 1s and 7s? Where are your extensions, right? Where can I put them in? I need to see all these rich, lush voicings. That takes a lot of effort, and it's very taxing on my mind to be able to do that. Now, as we move into approach number 2, this is where we kind of meet in the middle. It takes a little bit less learning, but it takes a little bit more skill. Right, so approach number 2 is right in the middle, and approach number 3, again, then we move into the opposite realm. Okay, our learning level goes down, but our skill set goes up to play these tunes. Now, this is the reason that I'm teaching all my Mastermind and Accelerator students starting from ballads. I teach everyone solo piano ballads first so that they get the concept, they get that approach down. Then I move them into slow swing and then eventually fast swing and medium swing, which is the least learning but most technically taxing. Okay? All right. I really don't have much more for you guys. I'm going to keep going through tunes, though, unless you guys have questions, because that's it. That's how we do approach 3. Let me show you how we might do this in 2 different approaches. This is a fun tune that I love. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. Again, live program starting in first week of September. Not too late to sign up at all. If you guys are on the fence or you've been thinking about it, please, please, please go check them out because I'd love to work with you. Some of the students that I know, Franco, you kind of expressed interest at some point. Susanna, I talked to you about it. All you guys would be really, really absolutely well cut out. Tom, obviously. If you need a payment plan, let me know. I can produce that for you too. But it really helps students make progress because we're able to meet you exactly where you're at in your playing right now, right? I can give you the exact puzzle piece to unlock what's sticking in your playing, you know, and tell you, okay, this is the exact key you need for where you're at. For the door that's right in front of you, I have the exact key for you. Whereas you might be searching through a pile of keys. You don't know what key you need to get through that door that's stopping you from making progress, right? I do. So Tom says, can you discuss using a 2-feel on a up-tempo tune? Yeah, it's a great question. Let me see if this tune will work. Franco, I see your question. I'll get to that in just a second. So a 2 feel means that you're feeling the pulse of the tune in 2. So if I'm feeling they can't take that away from me in 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm feeling all 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. In my body's feeling dot, 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 dot. Right? Now, similar to a bass line, when you hear a walking bass line, you can hear different types of walking bass lines. So if I were to walk a bass, by feeling it in 4, you're going to hear all 4 bass notes. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? You're hearing all 4 bass notes. Okay, now a 2 feel emphasizes only 2 beats out of the 4 beats in the measure. A 2 feel emphasizes only 2 beats out of the 4 beats in the measure. So instead of me always playing 4 beats, normally when you use a 2 feel, I'm going to emphasize just 2 beats, meaning I'm only going to play really 2 beats. The best way to describe this is within a bass line, but I can also comp like this as well. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry. I'll do it again. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, so on and so forth, right? So anytime I was counting 2, I was in a 2 feel because I'm only emphasizing or playing 2 of the beats out of the 4 beats. When I'm in a 4 feel, I'm playing all 4 beats, right? And normally this is done with the left hand with the bass note, right? So again, I'm just kind of emphasizing 1, 3, 1, 3. Now I'm saying 1 and 3. I'm not counting out the beats. I'm just telling you the beat number, like the downbeat of 1 and 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Right? So I'm playing on the downbeats of 1 and 3. So it's the way to reflect a 2 feel. It's actually very, very difficult in solo piano jazz. This would be a great, normally a lot of tunes start out in a 2 feel, but I really have to kind of walk bass a lot to really produce this 2 feel. So on and so forth. So to reflect the 4 feel here, I would start to walk bass. Right, you really have to walk bass to get that 4 feel in. Otherwise, it really is going to be, and this is why I call it broken stride. Like when I play broken stride, it's broken because you're really not hearing every single beat. You're hearing a broken mix of all the beats. Does that make sense, Tom? I know you're a pretty skilled player. Like hopefully that works. With a trio, it's much easier, but with solo piano, because you're having to do everything, the role of playing in a 2-feel really depends on the bass note feel. Franco says, if you have 2 chords per measure, can you avoid the bass note of the second chord? Totally, Franco. Yes, absolutely. Rhythm changes is a great example of this. Let's say I'm soloing. There's different melodies, right? Or I could use Eternal Triangle. Right, this is a super busy melody. So I might just go, right? So I'm going G7, C minor 7, F7, and then maybe I'll jump down to a bass note, and then another bass note, right? So chord. So I'm going C minor 7, F, B. But like I would say after 2 chords, Franco, you do want to get a bass note in. So if I went voicing, I think 3 is tops. So I might go C minor 7, F7, these are rootless voicings, B flat major. I would have to hit a bass note after that point. Otherwise, it's just going to sound like you're comping in a trio style with no bass. It's going to sound really empty, right? So I'd say max 3 times, but after 2 is when I usually jump down to pluck that bass note, and vice versa. If I play about 2 bass notes, max 3, well, no, I'm sorry. Bass is a little different because bass notes, you have such a low end harmony. Like I said, you can get away with just playing bass. So I could just go. So I can play bass really. I could play bass for the whole time. You can't really do the opposite. You can't just play chords or shells the whole time because you have no low end. It's too thin. So I couldn't go. Right? It just sounds a little empty. But I could do this. Right? So on and so forth. What is that melody? Piece in years. There it is. That's a great tune, by the way. If you guys go check out Sunny Side Up, it's a Dizzy record. It has a great kind of reharm on rhythm changes called the Eternal Triangle. Really, really fun tune. I was reviewing number 1 and number 2. Where are Luther's Kive? Sorry for the strange misspelling. I'm not where are the? I'm not sure what workshops you're looking for, Bruce. If you can retype the words Luther's Kive, I'm not sure what you're referring to there. I was reviewing number 1 and number 2, so that you can find the workshops again, youtube.com/jazz piano school, or they're going to be produced as podcasts this week and next week. So you can just go to the podcast tab at jazzpianoschool.com and you'll see them there. You can click into the episodes, but. That's about it for this particular live stream, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Again, a lot of information here. If you have any questions, please let me know. If you want to start to integrate this and practice it, the first thing you need to do is separate your hands and practice your left-hand solo piano components by themselves. Now, you need to know your melody super, super well because the time's going by fast. You're playing medium and fast tunes. So you just want to play bass notes and just play half notes, right? Or for this particular tune, let's say you want to play this fast, I would just play E flat 2, 3, 4, E flat, G, F 2, 3, 4, B flat 2, 3, 4, B 3, 4, E flat 2, 3, 4. Right? That's all I do. I just practice my left hand bass notes and then put your hands together. Right? You also want to practice your shells. Now, again, I would recommend practicing through tunes, your shells with tunes, right? But definitely always use the circle of force because you want to play through all your chord changes in different ways and different patterns, make them as spontaneous as possible. Then come to the tune and play just your shells. So E flat, right? Maybe like an E flat 6 here, 3 and 6. So I'd play 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, right? So on and so forth. Shells all the way through. Okay, and then I'd try to start to go very slowly, very, very, very slower than you possibly think you need to go. I'd go bass note to shells, bass note, shells, bass note, shells, shells, bass note. Do it at a time, no metronome or anything. Just get your hand used to moving back and forth, just your left hand alone. Shells, shells, bass note, A flat, C7, F7, B flat, E flat. Okay, and then finally you start to add in your right hand. Bass note, shells, bass note, bass note, bass note, shells, shells, bass note, shells, shells, so on and so forth, etc. Okay? Great. I have 2 more live streams coming for you guys, I think possibly the end of this week or next week, probably next week, 2 live streams. I'm going to do another live stream. Or I shouldn't say, yeah, I'm going to do a live stream on voicings and comping. Voicings and comping. Okay, because obviously you can see that comping in solo piano is really, really important. We're comping for ourselves. We have to comp for ourselves. And if you want to play in a band, you can comp. If you want to accompany one, you can comp very easy. Comping is the easiest thing to do. It's the easiest technically, and it's the easiest theoretically to learn. Okay, it doesn't take much to learn how to comp and to play and execute comping styles on the piano. Right? Solo piano is a little bit higher, and then improv is the highest. It takes a lot to learn, and it takes a lot to play and execute. Okay, that's why improv is the hardest thing to do. I'm also going to do an improv live stream, though, and I'm going to tell you, different steps you can take to improve your improv, get started at improv, and improve it. And again, those should be super fun as well. Is it easier for me to comp with rootless chords and hit bass notes with left hand as you described? Can I just do that in medium swing and not comp with the right hand? Yes, exactly. Gail, you can do just that. You don't have to bring your right hand down to comp at all. So you could play through a whole tune and just go... right? And you can, again, any voicing you use here from bass note to full rootless voicings or bass note to shell is absolutely appropriate. Right? And you can leave your right hand alone with just single note melody lines. You don't have to bring your right hand down to comp, but as you move up and elevate your performance and your skill sets, then eventually if you want to sound more and more like professionals, you will want to bring your right hand down to comp for yourself to kind of elevate your sound. Okay? Bruce says, are the chat questions answers recorded in the live plays? Bruce, that's something I am not really sure about. Sometimes they are and sometimes they're not. I've gotten students saying, oh yeah, the chat was in this live stream or in the recording. So the best way to, if you want to see the chat and questions, the best way to view that, no problem, Gail. The best way to view that is to go to YouTube, not the podcast on Jazz Piano School, because the podcast is just a video of the live stream. But if you want to see the chat as the live stream's happening, you want to go to youtube.com, Bruce, and go to Jazz Piano School, the channel, right? And go to the live stream tab, And when you watch the live stream on YouTube, then you should be able to see the chat as it's happening. Okay, you should be able to. I'm not too familiar with that stuff. I don't watch too many live streams, but check it out, see if that works, and I'm pretty sure that will work for you. Okay. All right, guys. Hope you guys have a great day. Again, jazzpianoschool.com/group. If you want to check out the live programs, they are starting the first week of September. Having a great time with all my students. And again, a lot of new changes coming to the Jazz Piano School members area. A lot of new podcasts happening. Obviously, these live streams are happening. I'm going to be getting some new software. I'm getting a new desk here right in front of me. That's going to be really fun and exciting right now. I don't even want to show you guys what it looks like right here. Right here. It's like a mess of like chords, speakers, like tools, right? So I'm really trying to upgrade my space. I love doing these live streams. I think they're super fun. It's good for promotion. I love helping. I love just giving out free content. I love free teaching for all of you. So I'm going to have a nice, beautiful desk here, a nice, beautiful picture of me and my wife at my wedding, right? Some family members, some nice quotes that are inspiring to me. And I'm going to get a nice big monitor. I'm going to have a new Mac Mini that's coming out in November. I think they're releasing it. The live stream will be much better. I'll have a higher quality. It'll be super fast. I'm going to do Zoom live streams, more YouTube live streams. It's going to be awesome. Okay? Spread the word. Subscribe to the Jazz Piano School YouTube channel, definitely, and share with as many people as possible, guys. When you share the YouTube streams and stuff like that, send links to your friends, comment on them. It really helps the engagement. I truly appreciate that. If you haven't reviewed the podcast, I appreciate that as well. That's super helpful to just promote the amazing education that's on here and help it spread it to the world. So I appreciate that. Have fun at dinner. Thanks, Randy. Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Bruce. Thanks, Franco. See you guys. See you, Gail.
Well, if you enjoyed that video lesson, definitely go ahead and subscribe to the Jazz Piano School YouTube channel, because we release a new lesson video just like the one you saw every single week. And we have other content educational series called Tips, Tricks, and Transcriptions that we release every single week as well. And don't forget to go to jazzpianoschool.com to check out all of the other amazing free education available there. And if you're looking to take some next steps on your jazz piano journey, we do have a membership available, many courses, and even live teaching programs that allow you to work with myself and my staff of Jazz Piano School educators. My name is Brendan Lowe, creator and founder of Jazz Piano School. Thank you so much for watching, and happy practicing.